And I think it's really learning about how it looks in your classroom and learning about the different levels and what it means to be at level 4 and how you can operate at level 4. And how it looks, especially as I'm teaching preps, how does self-reflection and goal setting look in a prep classroom, and also in a grade 6 classroom.
I've learnt that I can really use the other teachers in my school as a really valuable professional development resource, because they have so many fantastic ideas, and they can help you unpack your own teaching and come up with goals for yourself. So I think they are so helpful to be able to give you the skills to be able to unpack what you're doing, create goals and improve your practice.
And it's also nice to have this common language that everyone says, yes, that is what quality teaching looks like. So everything you're basing it on, everybody has that same understanding of what it looks like, and then you can move from there and develop your practice together.
What I've learned the most about this through this process is how valuable it is to have someone else come in and observe you and be able to share those reflections with you, because often when you're teaching you don't really notice certain things that you can improve until you have someone to bounce off or reflect with. And I think for young teachers starting out and also for more experienced teachers, that process of reflecting with each other and reflecting on your practice, not the behaviour of the children or what the children are doing, but what you are actually doing as a teacher is really, really important.
I think Sir Giovanni talks about the air travel, and he says that if there's an accident, what happens is that you have to put the oxygen mask on the adult first and get yourself right, and then worry about the children and put your oxygen mask on the child. And I think that metaphor really describes what we've learned in terms of the E5. We're looking at this is what the teacher has to do to get the student outcomes. So we're going from the teacher first, whereas in the past we've always looked at how do we get the best student outcomes? How do you get the best results for your kids? And the best way to get the best results for your kids is to make sure that the teacher is giving them the best possible chance. And so I really think that metaphor of we're putting the oxygen masks on the teachers now and getting them up and running to make sure that the kids can then have their oxygen masks and be successful with that.
I think really the only thing we would have done differently is if we could have tried to incorporate more PD sessions throughout the year and throughout the term. But we are going to do more PD sessions with staff next year. But I think this year it would have been better to have a few more.
And perhaps taken a few days for us to release people to do their collegiate observation visits. I think some people said later on it would have been great for us to come and help them prepare and get organised, but often the people didn't ask. So that was something we didn't think of until the very end.
I think if we had experimented with the practice and reflection protocols and arrived a little bit more quickly at the one that we're happy with and using very satisfactorily now, it would have given the teacher teaching a little bit more control over what was happening and how that person wanted things to be in the classroom, particularly if it wasn't their own class.
I think having the videos on there is really helpful, because they can just go and have a look at our videos and see, okay, that means that. So if I need to understand what monitoring student progress looks like, here's an example. It's really unpacking it for teachers.
And I think the pro forma sheets that we've done for people to have a look at too, if you think, what's that mean, you just pull that pro forma sheet out and have a look at the criteria, and you can actually self-evaluate yourself without having a person come in. You can just go, yes, when you're planning, you can use that as a tool to plan. I need to include this and this and this to reach that level 4 teaching. And it's so simple.
Well, we've got a lot of resources up there on our wiki, so we're hoping that teachers can take down lesson plan pro formas and use those to develop lessons that focus in on certain E5 capabilities. And we're hoping that the actual capabilities and the breakdown of all the levels of teaching will help other teachers reflect on them.
What it is we've tried to make it user friendly, and we've tried to make it practical as much as possible. So we're conscious of what the teachers are, they're short, they're time poor, and they want to be able to look at something and make sense out of it quickly, rather than having to read through reams and reams and reams of paper that's theory. I think we've certainly transferred a lot of it into practical applications, and the support that we've provided with the video, for argument's sake, what it's displaying, the links to the different schools, so you can see how different schools have interpreted the E5 model.